Oh, I'm thrilled, Brian. This is a major statement for shareholders and particularly for people that care about the climate and care about the future of this company.
As big of a deal as this was, there may have been a bigger, less publicized trial or court ruling in the Netherlands around Shell. Basically, a court in the Netherlands saying that Shell is partially responsible for climate change, and they're forcing them to up their climate and carbon change plans in advance. The Exxon ruling and the Shell ruling in the same day, not ruling, but shareholder vote in the same day. What does that tell you about the future of big oil, not just here, but globally?
Brian, I think Wednesday was a landmark day for the planet. You also had an annual meeting at Chevron where their plan was approved, a shareholder plan to make them address climate change more aggressively. It's a landscape day where, for the first time, the big oil and gas industry woke up and was told by its shareholders and by regulators it better start adjusting and adapting to a new future of low carbon. The phrase I heard yesterday was more profits and low carbon, and I salute that 100%. So I think it was a watershed day, not just for us, but for all investors and for the planet.
Do you believe that is possible? Higher profits, lower carbon?
I think these companies are smart, they're clever, they're huge, but they've got a lot of good engineers and they need to adapt. They need to recognize that they're energy companies. We're going to need some form of oil and gas, unfortunately, well into the future, but because it makes other products, lubricants and plastics and cosmetics. But they also recognize to be a dominant player, they've got to provide other forms of energy in other ways. And I think they can. I think the research and the efforts they've made in alternative fuels is going to pay off over time. They're the ones that really have to come up with a solution. Carbon sequestration, alternative energy sources, energy storage. These are the companies that are going to have to break new ground and help save the planet.
Does adding a few new board members, does it make Exxon Mobil more investable? The stock moved up 1%, a little more than the market, but it didn't exactly jump, Chris.
Oh, I recognize that, but I'm an investor. You know that, Brian. You look at that stock all the way back to October. What a massive turnaround. We really engaged the company directly, quietly behind the scenes. Engine One went public, but we've been talking to the company and having meetings with Jaron Woods since that time to really try and get their attention. A lot of shareholder proposals went at that company over the years that they have just rejected. But if you look back at time, really starting in about, I'll say January, you suddenly heard the CEO of Exxon Mobil talking about carbon recapture, talking about the Paris Accord, talking about 2 degrees and 1.5 degrees. That's huge. So yeah, I've heard the criticism that 2 board members doesn't change the mix. Oh, but wait, it does. It does, because 2 of their old board members are off. The third one is still up for question, and that's going to be a powerful change if we can get all 3 on there. So is the stock investable? I own the whole market, Brian. I don't want to pick an individual stock. And because oil and gas is really important in the USA and in the world, I think it's going to be part of the indexes. So BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, ourselves are going to own those stocks well into the future. My goal was to turn that company around from heading straight down the pipe into the ground and to turn it around for a brighter future. And I think we started that on Wednesday.
Are they the first or are they the only? Are they unique? You referenced Chevron, you've got Occidental, you've got Marathon, you've got Hess. Is this a new model to go after other big integrated oil companies, or is ExxonMobil really its own thing?
You know, Brian, I'll take it in 2 parts. Shareholder activism. So you talk a lot about activists, and we've backed a few of them, and they have some gains and some losses. Shareholder activism, I think we've now raised the stakes and elevated that to a whole new level of teaming up with people who can really put on a proxy fight and a board fight. CalSTRS has been in the background working with investors and other institutions talking about this, and there are a lot of global networks. Climate Action 100, pushing the TCFD, pushing SASB. We're behind all of that as part of the crowd. So I think that has changed, and companies need to pay attention to their institutional shareholders. Is Exxon unique? They were unique in being an absolute laggard. They just had stuck their head and stuck to the idea of drill, drill, drill. I think we're going to change that discussion in the boardroom, and then it's going to trickle down into that company throughout. Are they the only ones? No. Everyone is talking to big oil. The Climate Action 100 is engaging all of these companies.
You said it, you own the entire market. Okay, so are we going to get a Fed rate hike this year? Because if we do, I know you're not a day trader, but a Fed rate move is going to matter to you. Do you think we'll get a Fed rate adjustment earlier than planned? And if so, how do you ultimately adjust for that? What do you add to? What do you dump?
Brian, you hit it on the head. Watching the Fed is the whole key. And I don't think it's a rate move that's going to scare the market at first. It's just letting rates drift higher and not doing anything about it. We saw that a bit in the spring when they didn't say much, and Powell didn't say much about inflation and being worried. So I think the market's going to realize that, and I've said it before, you got to watch the bond market. U.S. interest rates are the key to the equity market. Whenever they do, they've got to reduce their balance sheet. And they did it before very slowly, but the markets have reacted negatively to that. So what do? Diversification. You can't be long just the stay-at-home stocks. You can't be long just big growth. You diversify around the world. So if you noticed that this last week, the world indexes hit all-time new highs, where the U.S. is kind of being toppish and not moving much. You diversify into other assets. And as we've done, you diversify into other strategies that are less correlated with global growth.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.